Welcome in. It is day 30 and you are speaking with the Meeples Champion. It is so exciting to be here at the end of 30 full days, our first month on YouTube. And I have tried my best and I would say succeeded as far as trying to continually put out a video every day for everybody, including a couple special event videos that you've seen up until now. And I'm hoping I can continue this for the next 11 months and really show the 365-day goal can be achieved. Today, we're going to be jumping into a game that is one of my favorites. It's been in my collection for almost a decade, and it was not the game I intended to buy when I got it. Initially, my choice was Alhambra. A friend of mine had it. We played it all the time. But what we ran into was, why would I need to buy it? The same group of people met every week. And with that group meeting every week, there was no need for somebody else to have the same game. But then I came across a game called Bonn. Now, Bonn is the exact same game as Alhambra, except it's been simplified. You're no longer looking at, I want to put up a full game of let's get all of the different money through the different colors, let's get all of the different tiles for the different buildings and build a city, and then build a wall, and then score all these things at the end. That's a lot. It can take up to an hour. Instead, this is a 2 to 6 player game that does have the exact same money. The 4 different colors that you can collect. Just like in Alhambra, this is going to be a setup of you can choose to take one money of 5 or higher value, or multiple money that add up to 5 or less. Or you can choose a building, but instead of a tile, it is also a card. Now, mixed into the deck, there are 3 scoring markers. You will score based on how many of each color you have when you reach the A scoring marker, the B scoring marker, or when the deck runs out, which is considered to be the C scoring marker. Now, I think this game is really good, but there are questions about how are we going to judge the game as a whole. I have to be fair and really judge it outside of just the fact I enjoy the game. That's what I've been doing this past month. What I haven't really done is made that very specific to you guys. And so what I thought I would try to do as a change of pace is try to actually bring up each topic as I go through it and really rank them for you. So, starting today, we're going to jump right into it with the art. How is the art to this game? There is a reason there is no box to my left right now. That reason is when I was trying to organize out my collection, and as you can see, I have a lot of games, and this is just my wall. I also was breaking games down and putting them into a smaller case so that I'd be able to bring them to somebody's house and say, hey, we didn't have a game in mind, but here's 20 shorter games. Bond couldn't fit with the box, and the art wasn't good enough for me to keep that box and exclude it from that possibility. I actually really like being able to have that included in that group of 20 games to bring in what looks like a single game case. It makes it so much simpler. So is it bad art? Do I think it's embarrassing or horrible? Not in any way. But was it art that sold me the game? No. I wasn't sure what the game was and I looked into it. Is it art that I want to display? No. It wasn't even art that I was willing to keep. So it has to get a thumbs down for me. So then, you jump to the next piece. What about the components? The components are fine. I'll give them the official thumbs up because at the end of the day, it is 2 pieces of cardboard that represent the middle of the board with cards above and cards below, and that's it. It's just cards, and the cards are well made. It's a thumbs up. Is it something that I think is the best cards I've ever seen? No. But again, I've had this game for a very long time. The cards have held up well, and I've played it clearly over 100 times, maybe even close to 200 times between family, friends. It's always a game that I can easily pull out, and it has not gotten beaten up. So the cards have shown that they can last and they're durable. So I think it's a big thumbs up on the components. Is it unique? Unique is not something I would use for this game. It is literally the simplified version of Alhambra. That in itself says this is not unique. It's the exact same game with just one less rule and made to go a little faster. I think that if it brought something really new in, that would be different, but it doesn't. It does everything that Alhambra does, just in an easier way so that people can play at a faster pace. I enjoy that, but it's not unique. It's a thumbs down on unique. How about the difficulty? I'm going to give it a huge thumbs up on difficulty because it's not difficult. You're not sitting there trying to teach somebody this game and stressing out because they just don't get it. It is extremely simple. It is not hard to explain how to pick up the money. It's not hard to explain how to pick up the buildings, and it's not hard to explain how to get the points. It's all very straightforward, and I think that that's an extremely important piece to anything when it comes to difficulty of a game is, can you explain this game, and before even playing a single round or turn or even setting up, everybody understands it. This game, yes, it's easy to understand. Keys to victory. The keys to victory are pretty straightforward. At the end of the day, this is a buying game, and therefore it's not hard. Your strategies tend to be, do you want to buy something the instant you can? Now, if you have the money to buy something, you have to pay at least what it's worth. So if you have a purple show up that's worth an 11 and it's above the orange, you have to pay 11 orange minimum to get it. If you pay exact, you're going to get to buy something additional right away. So there's 4 things available. You buy the purple. There's 3 left because you do not replace it. The max you can buy is 4 at a time. However, that means that you all of a sudden have this fantastic opportunity of, well, what do you want to do? With each round, they score better. So do you want to try to get scores in the first round, or would you rather build up your money? Do you want to try and get the scores in the middle round where you're getting some pretty good points, or would you rather make sure that you're making that money be variation of numbers, so then that last round you can be snagging 4 properties at a time and you can really overwhelm people? Or are you going to focus in early and say, you know what, I want to get money built up, but I'm going to try to snag like 2 or 3 of a color that nobody else gets, so that's clearly mine and I can ignore it for most of the game after this. There are lots of different ways to win. That is something that's important, and I think people have to realize that this game does offer a lot of ways to victory. It may not seem like that at first, but once you get into the game, it's very straight, clear-cut. I get it. Okay, well, let's then jump into replayability. Is it replayable? Yes, it's replayable multiple times in the same night. This is not a game that you play once and you get bored of. I've pulled this game out. I've played it 2-player, had somebody watching me and go, oh, can I jump in? We play another 2, or we now play a 3-player. Had the whole family play. Somebody gets tired after we finish. They go away. We now play it again. This is one I've played 3 or 4 times in a row. I've played entire Saturdays where I'm just putting on TV and me and my sisters hang out around the table watching the shows, and every time an episode gets to an end, we play a game of this. This game is replayable to an unbelievable degree, and I think it's one that would give a lot of people a surprise as to how replayable it is. The other question is the price, and there's a lot of things that come in with price. With price comes the question of, can you get it? This is not going to be found at a Target. It's not going to be found at a Barnes & Noble. You can look it up on Amazon, and you might find this on occasion, but this is not one that's always available. Sometimes you're going to look and it'll be there, sometimes it won't. And if you go to board game stores, you will find this at some, but not at all. I would say that if I go into 10 board game stores, I might see this twice. It's not one of the bigger games from that company, and therefore it's not widely accessible, especially today. I got this nearly a decade ago, so it's not as open out there. If you do find it, though, this is also not one that gets price gouged. You're not going to find it massively higher in price because it's hard to find. You're going to get this for like $30. It's pretty cheap. So at the end of the day, what's my recommendation? My recommendation is, if you see it, buy it on the spot. It should be in your collection. It's going to be an added addition to your regular gamer night. It's going to be an added addition to your family and friends who play occasionally, or maybe even to somebody who doesn't play at all. It's a fun game, and it gives you the opportunity to really jump in there and just have an enjoyable 20 minutes when you might just have nothing going on. You can play it on the plane easily. It's not too many cards that you have to have a lot of space for this. You can play it if you're on a bus, or if you're on a train. You know, you can play this in the back of the car while somebody else is driving. There's not a lot of it. So don't be afraid to invest. Don't be afraid to pick it up. If you see it, my recommendation is snag it on the spot, because you're not likely to see it very often. But that's my recommendation. You have been speaking with the Meeples champion, and this has been Bonn. I'll talk to you tomorrow.